Good day, everybody. It's Max, and welcome back to InfraSpace GIGA, the finale, you betcha. And in today's final episode, we're going to have a look at finishing up Canyon City. And at the same time, we're going to review a few things and talk about their next expansion, which of course is going to be terraforming. And we'll probably expand a little bit into that. Today's just going to be a fun little time. Probably it'll be a little shorter of a stream just because, again, we're just finishing up Canyon City, but we want to leave a little bit extra for when terraforming does arrive, so we can actually have a little fun with that as well. So, with that, before we get started, I want to thank everybody that hangs out, all the recent subscribers, even though Steam Elements is currently being cranky. There's the names. It's Steam Elements, people, what can I tell you? And, of course, I want to thank Noko and all the other live chatters. I hope you're all doing good out there in the neighborhood. And, of course, for everybody that watches later, I am appreciative of that very much and all the things. So, what are you doing here, Max? I don't know. Well, I'm trying to push buttons, and let me tell you, it's being very fussy today. I push that button. There you go. Look at that. That's a scene. That's a scene, people. You betcha. That is the scene of Canyon City, and just about done. 1,400 of that anonymine, whatever. 1,400 of the exotic mineral. We'll go unobtainium. Like an avatar, right? If we got 1,400 of that unobtainium, because we rule this planet. Gosh darn it, it's my unobtainium and it's all mine. And of course, Canyon City is just about done. Oh yeah, look at this. This is how you build a city in a canyon. We put a city into a canyon. In fact, this is 1/4 of the size of the entire last map with the core. So it's actually kind of funny. But yeah, that's how you do a city in a canyon, people. And of course, to get that city to grow, we have a transportation network. One of the bummer things that we'll talk about here today is the train network and about how it just couldn't function. And of course, we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll also go back to the drill here since it's done 1,400, and it is actually showing here the key difference of exactly what the problems with trains were and what the problem with the drilling is and all that stuff. And we're going to talk about that too. And of course, we also want to talk about the upcoming update, which of course will be the terraforming. That's of course when you get to take all this wonderful desert and you get to make it turn into green grass and all the things. I don't know. They've given a few details about terraforming, but they haven't gone through all the details of terraforming, and so of course a little bit will be a bit of surprise. But as it is, we have to keep going. We gotta like all the gondolas. Oh, my gondola network. Oh man, it's awesome. Let me tell you, my gondola network rocks. Yep, we got all the gondolas delivering all the things to each of these sectors in the city. Maybe we'll try and number a few of these up as well. I think there's like 12 or 15, maybe 16 of these. Maybe I should put some numbers on these things. There you go, Max. We should do that shortly. Maybe we'll use letters this time. I used numbers in the last series. Maybe we'll use letters this time in this series. All right. Well, that's an idea, Max. Well, that's such a great idea. Why don't you slap some housing in here? Okay, I'll do that. We'll do this as well. Okay, a little bit of farming here for everybody, because everybody likes a little bit of farming. There you go, because everybody likes to eat. Turns out, people don't do well without food. Who knew, right? So we'll give them a little bit of food. And we are getting a little tight for space here. So we'll give them a little oxygen down the side, though I don't think that's going to be a big problem for them. All right, so now for this guy, same deal. Slightly different design, obviously, because each one of these sectors has been slightly different designed. All right, there we go. And you know what? Let's just leave that alone. Let's just do it like this. We'll do some sort of cool thing like this. And where do you want to put them farms this time? Let's do something like that, and then we'll stick the farms out here in the corners of things. There we go. Rotate. Here, there we go. There, that ought to do it. And with that, we'll let that fill up, and at the same time, we'll get that started, and we'll start lettering these. Yeah. I think we use letters this time. Sector A, B, C, all the things. Yeah, let's do that. Lettering. Where is lettering? Sign, please. Font size. I don't know. What is... Well, I guess font size 3 is okay. A is what I want. Rotate. No. I need you to... Okay, how do I rotate it? Oh, okay, there we go. At least we got it going. This is Sector A. Boom. Look at that. Sector A, of course, was our original piece, and allowed us to get the city up and running. Each of these holds about 2,600 and change, I think, is what they're holding at the moment. The smaller ones don't, but this one here is holding about 2,600, and the rest of these, I think, are holding between 2 and 2,500. Like, this one's obviously looks a lot smaller, and it is. Just the way that the Canyon City and this entire riverbed valley kind of shaped out, right? So, rotate, put a letter B in here. Boop. B. Boom. So that is Sector B. Sector C, of course, kind of ended up with this gas in the corner, so I guess that will be their job. That's their job. C. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's in the right direction. There we go. That looks good. This will now make this one a D. D, of course, doesn't really have anything specific, except that this was where we are bringing in sulfur from that side of the map. And because of the gondolas, we get the double crossing gondolas here, right? Which makes it look really cool. So that's D's contribution. D's contribution to the effort is the double crossing gondola swings. Yeah, that's what's going on there. I see the upgrade signs are happening already. Gotta like that. And we'll give ourselves an E here for this district. No. Just do that. Dude, can you rotate? Gee whiz, it's very fussy. It's a very fussy thing. Yes, rotate. We will give E to you. Oh yeah, you're upset because you're colliding with something. What are you colliding with? All right, there we go. See, you're fine now. You're fine. F. F can be where are we going to stick the letter F at? Well, you're not sticking it anywhere with that size of a thing. I mean, we'll stick F right there. Looks good. Whoa, I just made a new record of highest ping I've ever had. Okay, well, how high was the ping, dude? Well, I put in the letter G for this part here. How high was that ping? Like, what are we talking? Like 4,000 or what? I mean, there's ping, and then there's like ping, right? There's G. Oh, come on, you're gonna be upset with that. Come on, give me a break. There's G. All right. H should be pretty straightforward. Come on, don't give me any trouble here with H, or I'm gonna be upset that I have to keep swapping things around here. Okay, so H is going to go there. What do we got here? 1,600. Yeah, that's 16 seconds. That's a pretty long ping. I think this is the letter I. I mean, that makes it, yep, H-I, yep. I mean, that's 16 seconds of ping. That's a long ping. Like, let's just put it this way. If you were playing, like, PUBG or something like that, you probably would have died, like, 1,500 ping ago. That's going to be a J. Put a J out there. Oh, come on. What's the problem here? Don't be giving me a hard time, Jay. There you go. So K, of course, is one of 3 of the food districts that's handling all our food down here. So we're gonna give K, yep, rotate K around. There we go. And we are at the last district, of course, which is now L. And we'll put in the L for that. Excellent. There we go. And you're not going to like that. Of course not, because these things, I think, take up 2 spaces. There we go. So from A to L is the sectors that we have. And that's actually pretty cool for this series, I think. Because I like to have my areas all kind of transform that way. Now, again, for those building in InfraSpace, one of the things about InfraSpace is that there's no way to. I mean, we should talk about production overview. There's no good way to manipulate the population on where they should be working at any one time. Okay, don't get me wrong. The production overview, like for example, if I say, okay, I want less people working in power, I could move this slider, but this slider affects everything, right? So this carbon here, right? It has 700 people working there at the moment, but that 700 people includes all the factories and all the science. And let's say, for example, I needed like 200 people because the city was running a little short. I can't just say, no, I need the other 500 people and all the other carbon places to keep working, but the 200 here in science, they can take a vacation. They can go do other jobs, right? That's the problem with production overview, is that you don't get a good enough control over the population and where they're working. The other, of course, issue, which I've mentioned in a few streams, is that you cannot close down or turn off a specific factory, right? So if I needed 200 population because I had a problem with food or something like that, and the city's having a collapse issue, I can't just say, well, you know what, I don't need science at the moment, let me just turn it off. And I could turn these buildings off and get like 300-400 people back and then move them on. So the only choice you're left with is one of 2 options. One is to destroy all these buildings and rebuild them, which is fine, except that's real messy. That's a real messy way of doing things, right? Yes, I get my 200 people, but then you have to rebuild all this? That's not what I want to do every time. Of course, the other thing, which of course is what I do here, is I don't build a singular city. I build sections of city, right? And if a section starts to have a problem, I can cut it off from the rest of the other sections. And then, of course, that section will die. That section will have a problem, but it won't take the rest of the city with it. And I can usually recoup the city without any big issue. Because if there's an issue with any of the products in this building will lose control. So, for example, if for some reason we're not suddenly delivering home appliances, this level 6 building will crash to a level 3 building. And that's not good, because we lose the 18 population back down to like, what? I think it's 10 or 12. So we would lose people, like we could lose like 150 or 200 people out of that in a very short order. And of course, I wish I could turn off the science and get them 200 people back to work somewhere else, but we can't. Insane. What's going on? Insane in the brain. Woo, you betcha. I hope it's all good in the neighborhoods. So that is what we do here. That's the way I build. I build by sector, right? And we've called these things multiple names over other series. So like, when I did the core series, I made these into circles. I made sphere cities, sectors, and of course that actually was really cool. I still get a lot of views on that all the time. The last series we just did was the cube series, where we actually put in 36 cubes. And of course, the 36 cubes got us to a total of 101,000 population on that map, which is basically pushing those maps, that previous map to the limit. Now here, I mean, in the valley alone, we've got 25,000 people. And I could probably squeeze in another 5,000 down here without even blinking, right? Which means I could probably fit 350, 400,000 people on this map. That's a lot of people, right? I mean, we could put a lot of people on this map. And but of course that wasn't the goal for this series. The goal for this series, I just wanted to play on the new big mega map. We wanted to see what the faults were, what the issues were. At the same time, I thought it would be really cool to build a city down here in the valley, Canyon City. So that's what I did. So that's let's see how our city's upgrading. Are these guys upgraded yet? I've seen a bunch of upgrading stuff. Yes, you're upgrading. You're getting something done. Guys, what are you doing? Well, you're asking for home appliances. Well, I'm sure you'll get some home appliances here shortly. You're looking for computers, dude. These guys want computers. These guys want home appliances. Is anybody shipping them stuff here or what? What are you shipping them? Let's see the cars. Oh yeah, well that's definitely computers. I just seen a bunch of computers drive in there. What are you? Oh, okay. Well, there's some home appliances. Some home robots, some VR education, and some computers. We got a lot of stuff coming into KNL. All right, that's fine. Let's see what we got here going on for the traffic, because traffic is always a good time to watch. Come on down here to the bridge network, because this is where a lot of traffic hangs out at, right? I mean, we just like watching. I must admit, I do enjoy watching the traffic. But as you can see here, the traffic is there's no jamming or anything like that. We control a lot of stuff with one-way road action. We have the 3 external factory areas which deliver products to the sectors. So the first section, of course, is down here. We'll just zippy down here. Of course, we can zip around the map by holding the shift key down when I move around, so that's how we get down there. This is my home appliance computer combination factory build, and of course, this here is producing basically level 2 and level 3 stuff, right? So home appliances is the first thing they ask for, and computers is the second thing they ask for. Mr. O, what's up? I hope it's all good. So, of course, these are the this is the first factory that actually handles the first 2 levels of the city. Then, of course, here is the next areas of city building. And, of course, these are home robots. Home robots, of course, are when the city goes up to level 4. It makes a request for home robot factories and home robots. And, of course, that's what these factories do. And then for level 5 buildings, to get to level 6, this here is VR education. Well, they call it edumatainment, but I like calling it education. So VR education, and of course this is what gets your buildings to level 6, and they are the 3rd factory zone that I like to do to get things around. Now that isn't everything they need. 3 things they need within the city itself is they need stadiums, they need parks, and then of course they need schools. And as you can see here, we keep these 3 here down in each of the sectors themselves. Another thing they need, the other 2 things they need that I keep in the city itself, one is basic farming, or simple farm. This provides basic meals, and then we have the other food type, which is the advanced meals. And of course, if we click on a building here, you can see where it says survival food. That's a level 2 requirement. But as a level 4 requirement, where is it here? Good meals. Good meals is right here, and that is what's being delivered out of these. So I tend to keep food down with each sector close by. Now you could, I guess, make a food not a construction zone, a food zone, right? So this is my VR zone, my robot zone, my computer zone, and I could make a food zone, but I don't know. I just find food actually works better when it's down close to each of my sectors. So that's why I do it that way. And they are running well. Of course, I need you guys to You guys are doing stuff down here, right? Yes, everybody got... Yes, you're going to upgrade, dude. You're getting an upgrade. You're going to pop an upgrade on me here in 10 seconds. Hey, look, that guy's pulling an upgrade. That guy just pulled an upgrade. Are you going to catch up, dude? Like, these guys are pulling ahead of you, dude. Let me tell you. Average Dad, what's up? And I hope it's all good in the neighborhood. There's a level 4 upgrade. Oh, you're fancy. Look, these other 3 guys, they went for the flat buildings, and you thought, yeah, well, since you're watching me, I'm going to give you the cool building. Yeah, that's right. That's how we do it. Okay, so let's talk. It's the finale until we get the terraforming coming out. So obviously, I've built Canyon City, right? I mean, you know, I am finishing up the last 2. I am finishing up K and L here at the moment. The last 2 sectors, and so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this back. It's going to come back, obviously, we'll wait for the. We're going to wait for the terraforming update. And, of course, once the terraforming update comes out, then we'll bring this map back and we'll terraform, right? Because that's the next thing as part of this series. Oh, yeah, you know what we get in this series. We get Laser Lady. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. This thing is awesome. It is definitely one of the things you got to have. You just got to have it. I mean... You've got to have this thing, people. Fire at will, Commander. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, this is what it's all about. I mean, this is what it's all about. You know, look at that. I could actually get a really nice. Thumbnail here. Just hold on a second. Push that. Push this. I mean, that is actually a really nice thumbnail. Yeah. Do you want to push the button on it? Tilt it down just a little bit. Sure. Catch that. Oh, yeah, that's a thumbnail, dude. That's definitely something we're going to go for. How to own it. How to win. How you doing? You bet. I hope things are all good in the neighborhoods. And, of course, yeah, lasers. This update did bring us lasers, and I must admit, they are cool. I mean, functionality-wise, you know, it doesn't matter. I just think they're cool. I mean, come on. I mean, this just looks awesome. You know, several beams would look more impressive. Yeah, it's really too bad you can't fire multiple beams, but I guess the laser gun on the spaceship, there's only one laser on the spaceship, so they have to fire it one at a time. So I guess I can understand that. You know, it's not like I got a Death Star flying around out here, right? I mean, you know, the spaceship, there's where they put the new laser right on the front of the spaceship, right? So it's only got one laser gun, you know. So I guess I'm happy that we just get a laser, right? Yes. Yeah, wow, what did you do last week? You got like 2 blocks. Actually, well, I think we had like 7 blocks done. And basically, to wrap up the series, of course, we just wanted to make sure we got Canyon City done itself. And really, we've already upgraded the spaceship. We've played with lasers. We've got all the factories running. Last week, of course, we did play. Let's talk about that. Last week, we did play with industrial robots. Again, I don't use industrial robots a lot because population usually isn't a problem. And industrial robots kind of play into the whole, you know, you're short on population, so you use industrial robots to make up the difference. But I find by the time they would be useful, you don't have a population problem anymore, right? Like, I mean, I only need 14,000 people for jobs. I've got 25,000 people kicking around. What kind of unemployment rate is that? That's like a 30% unemployment rate. Like, you know, if this was planet Earth, there would be riots in the street at the moment. Luckily, we, you know, this is like the future, and we don't care about jobs and stuff anymore. So, you know, it's just one of those things, right? But we did play around with industrial robots last week and districts. Again, I don't use districts very often, but because one-way roads are a lot better for controls. The one thing about districts, though, is that when you're using industrial robots or you know, working with, you know, secondary products in general, districts do come in very handy for making sure that products go to where they're supposed to go. So if I check out the industrial robot arrows, boom, there we go. There's some industrial robot arrows right there. Look at that. So we're only allowing the industrial robots to go to these sectors here. And that's so as they don't get overwhelmed and try to send them robots everywhere. Because if you don't put any controls in, those industrial robots would try to find their way into every little formation of life until it ran out of the buildings. And they would be very inconsistent, right? So have I ever thought about expanding my existing design to include 2 stadiums and more houses? What's the max population you could push with just one really large cube? Well, okay, so it's not that you couldn't, it's not that I can't make the cubes larger. It's just the cubes. Let's go back to cube A, or let's go back to sector A here. So this is probably the closest one I have to the cube series. This sector A here is probably the closest I have to matching what I would have in the cube series. The only thing it's missing is its final row here on the left hand side. But the right hand side, I mean, almost all of it is the same. Like I said, it's just a little bit quirky off, and because it's holding about 2,700 people. Now, it's not that I couldn't make this bigger. Bigger, I mean, you know, the size isn't the problem. But of course, every time you make something bigger in InfraSpace, you have to make sure that you've got the supporting infrastructure to handle it. So of course, if I made that cube bigger, well then of course I would have to make sure that my house appliance / computer factory build would have to increase to supply that cube if it was bigger, right? And again, same with the home robots, right? Again, depending on what size I made the cube, I would have to update this design. Now, not to say I couldn't make this design bigger, right? I mean, you know, it's in fact, it turns out I got a template here. So here's a robot template of the current design. And I mean, you can make this bigger, right? Like, I mean, it's nothing to make this bigger and just add some more rows for chips. Make the self-inclusion zone for nanotubes bigger by adding some extra road work in here. It's not that you couldn't make it bigger. It's just, you know, you have to once again make sure that if I was going to upgrade these, I would push this. Now, the only other thing I would note is the game kind of has a built-in number of 3,500. So let's talk about that for a second. When you first start with a city, right? So here, throw down a road, Max. And we're not going to connect this to anything. We're just going to throw down a road. Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. You know, you're starting a city. Let's say you're starting from scratch, right? You got your basic habitat, right? You're slapping it down, right? That's really ugly, Max. Why don't you fix that? Okay. You're slapping it down, right? And, you know, your city starts to move in or whatever. And what you'll notice here for population info is obviously there's a required habitat level for the city. And at the very beginning of the game, this level is basically nothing, right? The people expect you to basically be a bum, all right? And so their required habitat level will basically be like 0 or like 1, right? And I mean, basically you could pitch a tent and get 1, okay? So when you start the game, this required habitat level is basically non-existent. As your population grows, this habitat level kind of keeps growing with it, right? So once you got about 1,000 people in, like this average required habitat level, like say you got 1,000 people in, well now it's kind of floating at around 2.75 to 3, right? And then you'll notice that by the time you get to about 3,500 people, when you get to 3,500 people, the average level will be about 5.9 and it will sit there, right? So if you're trying to build out your initial city in InfraSpace and you're working on like a stability, like like basically my first sector is my building stability sector, right? That's why this here is the way it is. This first one, if you tried to make it bigger than say about 3,500 people, that would make that pretty tricky, because you would actually have to start, you'd have to start getting into like doubling this almost right away. So like the nice part about the build I have in general is that this 2,700 cube and the jobs it provides is enough to do this entire housing or housekeeping / home appliances / computer industry. It allows me to build one of these home robot facilities, and it allows me to build one of the VR education facilities and have a little population left over for science, right? So that 3,500 number, which then hits level 6 and then stays there the entire time, also kind of works out really good for my factory build / science stuff, if you want to put it that way, the stuff of science. So anything bigger than that, I think would get a lot trickier, because obviously I'd have to make these bigger, but you would have to maintain 6 after that, right? And getting the first one up to 6 is kind of the thing, and then that's the big catch-all after getting to level 6. Like, let's go back down to level K and L here. Zip. All right, there we go. So, what's our biggest challenges about doing new sectors? The challenge now is you cannot put in too much housing at any one time, right? If you do, you can easily crash your city, because what happens is we're putting in all this new housing, right? Look at me go! I'm housing man. I'm putting in houses, right? The only issue with that is, okay, housing guy, you realize every house you're putting in here is cutting into the average, right? So if you were to go look down at that docking bay, you're actually, you've got a lot of level 6 buildings here, but now you're slamming in a bunch of level 1 buildings to go with that average, which means you're tearing the average down. So let's say your cubes were like 5,000 a piece and you want to make a cube at a time. You'd never be able to pull it off. It just wouldn't happen. And the reason is that to fill out a full cube like this would crash the landing market, if you want to talk about in financial terms. Basically, you would crash the average to where nobody would want to move in. So now you would have this whole city problem of people not moving in to this new cube of city stuff that you just put a bunch of infrastructure in for. And the problem with that is that if you just spend a whole bunch of jobs on stuff that people aren't going to move in for, well, now you got a problem, right? You've basically created a feedback loop, which could basically crash your whole entire city. So why would I build even bigger? Yes, but I don't know if I'd build them much bigger. Now, I did see, I forget the name of the user, but it is on Reddit. Another person who did a 100K city. It's actually a really nice design. It's a great looking design, and it actually kind of is a all-in-one city. I like the design, and it is on all-in-one city. But I could see the balancing act on that being very, I wouldn't call it difficult, but it would be very hard on my head because every time you'd put down some houses, you'd have to quickly also run around and put down more factories and stuff. And his design allowed for that. It's just that my design doesn't kind of allow for that. And I guess that's just the way the mathematics is for me. So could I build them a bigger? Sure. Would I go much bigger than a 3,500 size? Probably not. Just because I don't think it would be able to handle bigger than a 3,500 size. Right, Magnum? That's right. Magnum PI knows. I mean, he's handling my cities really well. Magnum's the man. right? And as mentioned last week, this drill actually shows the pinnacle of the issue in InfraSpace when it comes to goods transfer, right? So we have a whole bunch of drills. We have a whole bunch of methane right here. Look, it's right here. Right there. Look at that. Look at all this methane. It's just sitting here, right? And there's nothing using this methane except for science. So let's go up here. Why is this short of methane, right? Why are they waiting for methane? I've got almost 400 methane sitting down there. It's not that far away, right? Why is this waiting for methane? Because that is the issue with the game still. First, I think they need a balancing issue. They with their new mega map, they've got a balancing problem, and they've got to work on that. But two, I also think, just in general, the way the game calls for resources isn't the most efficient, right? Which is why you see city collapse, right? It's like, you know, like when we had the trains out here, and the trains were working fine until the city got so big, and then it was like the trains couldn't figure it out anymore, and the other problem is that the buildings just won't call anymore, right? So instead of home appliances saying, in about 10 minutes I need more stuff, I should call that now. Well, it won't call home appliances until it gets down to like 1.5. But by that time, it's too late, right? It's too late to chuck that on a train and get it down here. And it doesn't matter how much you got running or whatever. They just don't allow enough time to get stuff done. Like if I put my if I check this out, look, there's 32 trucks on the way here with gas. But why didn't it call 50 trucks for gas? Or why isn't it calling like 100 trucks for gas? I've got 400 gas sitting right over there. Call all the gas and just keep calling for it. Now, yes, if you had all this stuff making continuous calls for more goods, the CPU cycles would be just mind blowing, right? So you couldn't do that. But obviously, they're going to have to look at the numbers that they can that are held in a building, and they're going to have to increase these numbers because of the map size or something to that deal. Because obviously, unless I take this methane drill and I literally plop it right on top of a gas vein, which you can't even use piping for, the methane drill doesn't work with piping. So unless I'm going to do that, this is a problem, right? And this is the problem with trains. This is the problem with distance in the game. It's the problem, period. Like, here it is. It's calling for 36 gas because its maximum holding is 40 gas. But really, it should have called like 200 gas by now, right? But this thing only takes 24 seconds to run. So it should be calculating out saying, okay, every 24 seconds I need 10 gas. That means, every 60 seconds I need 40 gas coming up this highway, which means if it's like 80 seconds of delivery time, that means I should have at least 80 gas en route at any one time, but they don't allow for that, right? There were 2 upgrades. Are they possible? There were 2 upgrades. Okay, I'm scared to ask. 2 upgrades. Upgrades for the city or upgrades for something? You'll have to give me a little more specific on that one. Just because of what it is. Well, I don't know. It's really not helpful because the drill is the perfect example of the game issue, and that is we have the resources. We have 400 gas. The drill wants 10 of that gas every 24 seconds. It's allowed to hold 40 gas, but because it's 80 seconds away, it needs to call at least 80 gas to get this running all the time. So that's the problem. The problem is it's just not. They need to rework the balancing issues of the game, so as these buildings over these distances can call in more material and store more. Or, like I mentioned, I would have a new type of storage in the game, right? I mean, I would put new storage in the game that you could put into your cities or close to the cities and then allow for stuff to be stored, right? So, I mean, yes, these buildings are storing stuff, but why are they doing the storage, right? You should have a storage building that you would have outside your city where you could just deliver stuff, right? Just deliver stuff to it. Once the buildings are satisfied, if you have any extra stuff, just deliver stuff to your storage buildings. And then the city could call on that stuff when it's required, and the distance would be really short. So that way you could always have this extra close by and run to it, right? Actually, the gondolas themselves seem to be working really good. I hate to say it, but I wasn't really looking forward to the gondolas, and I must admit I'm enjoying them a lot more than I was going to. You know, I was looking forward to doing trains in the series, and I was like, oh, but I'm going to have... In fact, it's funny because I experimented before starting the series. For a couple of days before starting the series, I did a few experimentations on the map. And one of the experiments I did was I did this huge whole highway setup of bringing highways over the canyon and then having these big, huge highways driving down into the canyon to make deliveries of goods because I was sure these gondolas were not going to work well. I was sure of it. And they've actually been a lot better than I was expecting. And I must admit, I am enjoying them. And meanwhile, the trains that I was looking so forward to playing with kind of bummed me out. And I'm really bummed out about that because I was really looking forward to using the trains to deliver all the goods this time across the long distances. But it just seemed like it was a level of complexity that the game couldn't figure out, and it's already struggling to call in the numbers over long distances of the goods it needs already. And it was like, oh darn it, like the trains kind of bummed out, but the gondolas worked really awesome. I mean, they don't give me any hassle at all, right? I mean, again, it's not that they aren't working, and it's not like, so like going back to the drill, right? Like look at all this gas we have sitting here. If the drill would just call for it, the gondolas seem to be taking it no problem. It's like, yep, I'll deliver that gas to a road network, right? Just switch the train tracks for gondolas. Yeah, well, that's all I did, right? Like, I just put in a bucket load of gondolas, and I must admit, they are really cool. I mean, they are awesome to play with. So I will say, kudos for the gondolas, right? Kudos for gondolas, because they are working really well. They have a balancing issue with getting items from point A to B and the calculations behind that. That's something they're going to have to work on big time. But the gondolas seem to be working well, and I think the trains would actually work well along with that once they have maybe the calculations reworked out. Sometimes trains, when game developers put trains in, again, trains are always tricky because unlike a road, right? Unlike a road where if you have like 1 kilometer of road and you have one item to go down that 1 kilometer of road and the truck drives, let's make it in real world terms, right? We'll do it, and we'll even do it in miles for my American friends for a minute. So let's say this road is 60 miles, right? And them trucks can drive 60 miles an hour, okay? And that truck can hold one item, all right? So how long does that truck take to get that building? It takes exactly 1 hour of in-game time, right? But trains, that's a big problem because one train at one time could be carrying 50 items, and then the next train might only pick up 45 items, and then the trains may run at different speeds, and all kinds of quirkiness with trains, and that makes calculation with trains a lot harder. I mean, that's real life logistics too, right? That's not just game logistics. Trains make logistics somewhat complicated because trains overall, I mean, they have a timetable, they have a schedule, and yes, road networks, you can have problems with road networks like storms and snowstorms and stuff like that. It's just trains, because of the volume they can carry, make it harder to calculate even in the real world, much less. So you always have to ship extra. You're always shipping extra when it comes to trains. And of course, the issue with that is this game's not really good at calculating anything extra, much less what it needs, right? So I think that's where the train issue kind of fell apart. Now, as for the power thing, now I'm going back to Mr. O. Under power consumption, ooh, geesh. 2 upgrades. Well, first of all, I know there's no upgrades for power consumption because we are using the best power of the stuff. I mean, we're using fast neuron reactors. In fact, we'll go into the research menu here for. Actually, we're really cutting this close, people. I mean, we're giving 16,485. We're using 16,105. Like we're cutting. We're cutting. Oh, in the drill. Oh, my bad. Power in the drill. Oh, you mean these upgrades here? Oh, my bad. Okay, I get it. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. You're right. Industrial robots. Well, yeah. Okay, so what industrial robots does is, again, it just saves a worker, right? You know what's funny? This drill takes 70 people to work it, all right? So automation reduces your workforce requirements by 1 worker. So instead of 70 people, you would need 69 people to work this drill, all right? You know what? I'm going to do that just for the laugh of it. All right. Excuse me. Can I have a district, please? Well, you know I'm going to do this. I mean, this is just a given now. No, I mean, this is a given. Yep. Do that. Do. I guess you should have used the big circle there, Max. You probably should use the big circle because this little circle's. But oh well, it's fine. Here, I'll just color the rest of this in. Do. It's all good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Can I have? I want. You know what? Give me this arrow and stick it on that thing. There we go. 69 employees run the drill. I mean, that's just appropriate in some weird fashion. Okay, so that's what industrial robots would do for us. As for high-tech tools, which would get 30% better production. Yes, it's not that upgrade doesn't work. Okay, it's not, and so it's not that we couldn't use high-tech tools. It still doesn't resolve the problem of this, though, right? So you can see here, currently delivered 34, right? Okay. The problem is literally all we would have done is just made it 30% better, but still not resolve the counting problem that it's facing when it tries to do this calculation, right? And that carries throughout all the buildings in the game, right? In fact, that is why you'll notice here my designs are all kind of self-encompassing, and that's why my designs are like that. Because I don't have any problems, right? So the reason I designed like this computer home appliance factory the way I did is because everything is contained right here. Nobody has to drive anywhere, right? Home appliances, chips, right there, right? Computer factories, no problem. Microchips and chips, right there, right? Like everything is within this little block. There's no traffic, there's no issues, there's no nothing, right? You're not seeing like microchips way down there and then the computer factories down here and then cars having to drive all the way here. Everything is contained in this little block, and which keeps traffic low, right? And in fact, like home robots or the robot builds in general, right? They're all the same deal, right? You've got 2 components, right? You've got nanotubes, which is its own contained area. In fact, this whole thing is built into one single little road. That's it. And then, of course, the other part is usually the neural processors, which, of course, is this block up here, right? So it's all about containment, keeping things really cool, right? Regarding trains, hey, I'm all about that drill. Regarding the trains, for me, they seem like that faster way of delivery from point to point. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? They look faster, like not using a huge road networks for each segment. Yeah, so the trains, I mean, when you watch the trains and the volume they carry, should be faster. I mean, like when you're using lightning rail, right? So like, when we were using, like when I'm using trains and I'm using lightning rail for those trains, I mean, that rail is faster than these road networks. And the train can hold more. But it can't seem to calculate it right. And again, that's because it's, there's extra math being done there, I guess, that we're just not being accounted for, right? Maybe try connecting another methane deposit to the drill via road. Yeah, I could do that. Except all the methane's in the valley. But, I mean, I will do that for you right now, actually. We can do that. Watch this. This is going to look real ugly, by the way. I'm just going to point that out. Let's do. Okay, so do this. I mean, this will definitely eliminate the gondola problem. If it is gondolas, you're definitely going to see improvement, right? Where am I going to do this? So the big problem with this little experiment is doing this is not easy. Okay. So let me do this. Okay. Okay. Let's try and get this as close as we can. Okay. You're gonna have to count this, Max. So don't get too rushy. Where are you at? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. Okay. We'll try that. All right. Does that look high enough? Yep, looks high enough. All right, well, let's see if we can't get it connected. This will be the next challenge, right? Do this road, and after, let's try my plan. Okay, just hold on a second. And then, okay, I don't even know how to get. I wouldn't even know how to get the train down in here, right? like this road may not work very well. Come on, dude, get down here. Come on down now. Okay, let's try to make it do that. Oh, yeah, that's not what's good. That's not good. Nope. Just hold on a second. We'll get it. This is going to take a few tries, right? Okay, yep. Come on down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. You do know that it was the Pointer Sisters that made that Sesame Street song? I think that's really cool. Oh, come on. That was fine. That would have been fine. That's baloney. So I am getting some undercurrent here. Okay, that's fine. Can you do that? Yes. All right. Can you do this now? Okay, we'll do that. Oh, come on. You know. Gee whiz. Yeah. Go away. Yeah, get rid of that. Yeah, scoot. Okay, so we still have some undercurrent. So the reason it does that is what it's doing is, even though we don't see it, there is still some underpinning underneath this rock that it's able to connect to, which is why we have to keep doing what I'm doing here, and which is quite painful. But we'll get it. Oh, come on! Now listen. What's your problem with that road? I mean, that road actually looked all right. Do that. Yeah, see? I knew you could do it. All right, so now we got to get this thing down into the valley, right? Sanchez, what's up? I hope it's all good in the neighborhoods. All right, let's get this down in here. Yeah. So, 50 is the height requirement. You've got to get that up there, dude. Yeah, I know. How are you going to get that up there? I don't know. Well, let's do this. You're going to have to do this, and then we're going to do this little maneuver. You got to start at 0, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, I know you're going to be cranky here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, come on. Figure it out. Oh, I know, game. We are so going to choke out here for the next 5 minutes, and it's going to be very painful, and you're not going to like it, but you're going to do it for me. I know every little piece of road I put in here is going to be painful. Listen, I need that road network to go twice, because we got to try and do this out in the open somewhere. All right, so there's we're at 5, right? We got 45 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 20. Let's do that. And then I'm going to bring it over by 1. And then, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 25. 3, 4, 5 is 30. 2, 3, 4, 5 is 35. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 40. Where's my 50? Where's my 50 road? Okay, it's right there. 40. Okay. This is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Where's this 50 road at? Oh, it's right there. Right in the middle of the big rock is where it is. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. Okay, so that should be 50, right? Okay, there we go. We got it. We got it all the way up there. Holy smokes! All right. So yeah, this is gonna get real ugly if I don't fix this really fast. Listen, where's this road at? It comes down here like this. All right. So I'm gonna pause this for a second now. We're gonna take this out. Okay. Now, we need to get this road over there. You're gonna probably have to build a bridge. You know what? Let's go all crazy. Where's science at? So science is right there. All right, let's just go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. We're gonna build a bridge right over this sucker. We're just gonna take this straight to science. Damn. Yeah, right up to science, people. Yep. Boop. Probably gonna lose its mind. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll hook it right onto the road. There, that is a direct line road of science, of methane to. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, so this is. Just keep in mind, this was something I was going to do. Okay, I was going to before I played with gondolas. I spent, I don't know, 2-3 hours playing with different road networks into this valley. And they all look like this, all right? So I just and so I'm really glad that gondolas worked out as good as they did, because this looks really goofy. Okay, here we go. We're gonna see if this works. But I think the issue is gonna be not that we're gonna press play. Patience, people. We're gonna press it. Okay, so now it's gonna have to figure this out, right? All right, so here goes all the gas, right? It's on the superhighway. Right? It's going to make its way up here. Listen, I'm going to hit play just so yeah, look at all the gas coming up the highway. This is perfectly safe, people. There is nothing wrong with this highway at all. There's nothing wrong with this at all. You know, it's the future. And in the future, you can build stuff like this, and it is perfectly fine. All right, so we're going to let this run for a minute. Okay, and we're going to let this run for a minute, see how it does, right? See if it keeps up. Right? I do not believe it's going to make any difference. I've got that highway as about as straight as you can get from that methane to this, and that's the closest methane. So I don't think it's going to make a difference, but we'll let this run for a minute while we go look around. Okay, let's see how the city's doing in general. Did you guys fill out? Yes, you are filling out. You're at level 4 buildings. I can see it already. People are moving in. Oh, except this guy, he made it to level 5. He's doing good. So our ending population is going to end up around, say, 27,000. Okay, cool. You're doing a good job there, dear TC. You just keep working on that. All right. I think everything is good here in the neighborhood. These are our VR educations. How are they looking? Oh, yeah, they're overproducing really well. Yeah, they look good. Yeah, they look really good. Okay. Death to frame rate. Yeah, when you try to go... Well, I mean, this is the thing, okay? I've only got a city in the canyon. Could you imagine if I was working on the entire surface of the map? I mean, the frame rate for just working in the city of the canyon is bad now. I mean, if I were to try and do the whole city on top of this map, it would be a killer. Now, one of the things they are trying to, they have discussed on their updates is they are converting. I think it's them that are doing it. That they're converting over to a different format for movement with the Unreal Engine or whatever it is they're working with. And I guess they've been having great success with frame rates and stuff. So I know they are working on performance improvements. Look at these cars. Look at these cars coming up here. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so the drill doesn't need any gas at the moment. Great, right? You're thinking, hey, we solved that problem, right? So the question is it going to keep up? Or is it going to run out, right? So it's got 16 in storage, 18, 20. Well, you know what? That road may actually do it because it's using 10 and it's got 10 in storage, and we know we have 22 being delivered. But again, this will only prove my point about calculation, right? If this road network actually does work, then that's not good, right? Yeah, like, are you going to keep going? That's 24 seconds, dude. Like, your 24 seconds is up. Yeah, let's go. Oh, they're just going to... Oh, all right, so I guess they don't do animation all the time. So, okay, you're going to give me another one? Incoming storage is empty. All right. Well, I know it's, like, oh, okay, so yeah, see, we're still waiting for 34 trucks to arrive, right? So now we've gone back to waiting for gas, right? So it should be calling that gas faster, right? Send all your gas. It's just, no matter what I do here, unless I literally park this drill on top of the gas, but if I do that, well, then I would have to make sure that the red science and the flower power was also parked over there, right? So it's just a delivery issue, right? There's no way to get this. And I mean, this highway should be loaded full of trucks delivering gas, and it's not. It's like, yeah, we see the occasional vehicle driving by, but this is not 80 trucks. This is like, well, currently it's 26. It's 26 vehicles. 26 vehicles, 24 vehicles, because 2 more arrived. So it's just not delivering them fast enough, right? Yeah, so that is the big thing about about this crazy highway. The industrial robots don't seem to have made it to the drill. That's because I forgot this part. We did give them our own little road, and I forgot to do this part. Hey guys, what's up? Listen, I need to do this little maneuver. Boom, boom, and then 1, 2, drive back down here. Where is my robots? Or my drill. There's my drill. So if I take this road over to here, and I plug you into the back of this. What are you doing, dude? No, just plug into that, would you? There we go. Yeah, there. That should allow them guys to get out, right? Right, guys? You can get out there now, right? Yep, there they go. All right, good job, guys. Go hang out with that drill, and we'll see what happens. We're trying to make this drill work. Wow, it was actually short on... Did it say it was short on flower power? Okay, well, it's got 10 gas. It's got 10 gas now, right? And of course, it's calling for 20 more gas, but it should be calling for 30, but whatever. So it's calling for 22. And I'm assuming this is in cycles, right? So it's checking and checking and checking, and then it's like, oh, okay, I need even more gas. Send me more gas, right? But if I was this, I would be like, no, send 40 gas. Send 50 gas right now, right? Like, it's almost like it's not able to take the time of the drill. It's almost like the 2 times are separate. It's like the time of delivery distance is not being accounted for the same time of of factory requirement time, right? So the time here is 24 seconds. It should be using that time along with the actual distance to actually do the calculation properly, but it's almost like it can't do that. So all it's doing is like, oh, okay, I can hold up to 40 gas. I'm just going to keep calling for the 40 gas I can do, right? You know. So it's kind of weird. It is definitely weird. How about, are you guys here yet? I hope you guys... Where's my robot guys? Oh, is that the robot guys arriving now? I think that's the robot guys arriving. No, some of them? What are you? No, you're just goo. What are you? No, you're not what I want either. Listen, where's my robot guys? I'm pretty sure the robots can get down in here. Yes, they can. Hi, industrial robots. I know they can get here. Gosh darn it. Because this road comes into this road, and we have these district offs, so they can't go wherever they want. They have to do what I want them to do. So which means they're going to turn down this way, and they would turn down this way, and then they would turn left, and then drive in. Right? I mean, you're delivering lots of gas, guys, but look, don't you make me look bad here. You guys should be. This should not be a problem. Well, you know what? Come out here for a second, dude. Okay. Whoa. What are you? You're copper, dude. Where are you going? and this is one of the things about us doing this little cheat this cheat area here. Sometimes some of the raw materials are finding their way out. What else is sneaking out here besides that? What are you? You're water. Wow, I didn't expect to see that. What are you? You're processors. You're sand. You're water. Where's all this water going? Do I want to know? No, I don't want to know. That's sand. That is carbon. Okay, everything but what I'm looking for is leaving here. Listen, there shouldn't be this much traffic on this road. Gosh darn it. Where is my robot guys? Okay, that's neural stuff. That's raw ore. Like where? Okay, wait a minute. That's a van. What's in that van? No. What are you? No, you're nanites or you're nanotubes. You guys don't look like you're supposed to be part of the pack. I mean, I can't believe all this traffic that's driving through here that's not supposed to be here. Okay, listen, guys. I know. Give me the districts. Give me the robots. Yeah, look. See this arrow? This is supposed to be right over to here. This is all good. All right. Listen, I'm gonna just watch these guys for a minute. They want to be this fussy. All right, here, hit the play button. What are you? You're not what I want. Look at all the sneaky traffic coming out here. You're two. You're a thing. You're a thing. You're a thing. Okay. Well, here's an idea. Let's see. Let's say I'm going to give you guys another opportunity. Listen, come over here and give these guys free robots. All right. So we're going to give these guys a free opportunity. Now, these guys are kind of going to come in the same road, except that they'll make a right turn here and come down in this way. So if we go grab robot guy. Industrial robots, right? Yep. I want you to deliver this guy here. And we're going to watch to see any trucks coming out and see if they can actually get there, right? All right. So let's hit the play button. Okay. Do we have any... Yeah, so we got 3 trucks they just pulled out. All right. That guy is going... Yes, he is. All right. So see, I knew we had road connection. I knew we did. All right. So this guy is being delivered. Okay, you know what? Let's follow this guy. Make sure that he gets there. Because maybe he magically disappears into the unknown, right? Drives through a black hole or something. All right, we'll get there. Well, okay. So yes, I could move the drill to the edge of the canyon. That's fine, but I shouldn't have to, right? I should be able to put that drill wherever I want it. and have the goods delivered. Because if I have to put that drill to the edge of the canyon, that defeats the whole purpose of this entire map. Okay? And I'll explain that. So, yes, methane gas is used by the drill, and yes, the drill obviously isn't close enough to get the methane gas to it, so that's a problem. All right? Okay, so you're driving in here. Look at you go, you little doobie. You drive right in here. Yep. I'm going to hit the normal speed. Okay, you turn in. Okay, you got robots, right? Okay, so she got robots. Yay, she's happy. Right, did you get your robots? Okay, they finally got robots. Okay, Lady Drill. Listen, I don't know what you were doing with your robots, but it's still not solving the problem. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. But the thing is that, okay, let's say I had to put the drill closer to this. That's fine. The problem is that this isn't the only thing this thing needs, right? This thing also needs red science packs and uranium propellant. So, if we need uranium propellant, that means, and as you can see here, these are already choking for it, right? Currently being delivered, 32. Why is that, right? Well, that's because the closest purple goo is right here. So, if I move the drill closer to the ravine, it's farther away from the purple goo, which means the purple goo would be the next choke point. It's like there's no way to win this battle, right? Because the purple goo is only in these things, in these volcano formations, and so there's four of them stuck around the map. There's this one here, that one over there, and then there's two on the other side of the map, but we don't use those two. But that's the problem. Right? So yeah, I could solve one problem by moving the drill closer to the methane, but I'd only end up with another problem because I need purple flowers, and this goo, look, all this goo is running into a problem. It's having a hard enough time to keep up with the purple goo. Which again, same problem, right? It isn't delivering it fast enough. So yes, sounds like a great plan. Move this closer to the methane. But then all I've done is just short myself something else, right? Which then comes back to all my factories. All these factories are calling for resources around the map, right? So, I mean, even these simple chips calling for iron ore and copper ore. Okay, we're lucky enough that iron and copper is not too far away. It's right here. But what happens if this iron and copper wasn't here and the closest iron and copper was, like, say, down here? Right? This was the closest iron and copper. Well, would they continuously run short? Right? So it's just kind of one of those things. The amount of delivery needed per one craft. Yeah, so now I do know that if you choose 3 different levels of severity at the start of the game, like there's easy, medium, hard. Now, one of the things that does is it allows for more stuff per truck to be delivered. But that doesn't quite work either, because what it does is it instead of slamming 4 into a truck or whatever, it will slam 4 into a truck. It just won't allow the truck to deliver until the truck is full, which sounds great for that, but then it comes into problems like this. So let's say you have a building down here that needs like 1 robot, right? So you have this building, right, and it's currently being delivered 1, right? Awesome. So it's currently delivering 1 robot. If you have this kind of map on easy mode, I think it can do 2 or 4 in a truck. Well, that's great, except the truck doesn't leave until it's full. And not only that, let's say the truck holds 4. Okay, great. But this building only needs 1. So what happens to the other 3? They get wasted. It doesn't quite work like the way you think it does. It's not like the bigger truck holding 4 would deliver 1 to this building, and then 1 to this building, and then 1 to this building, and then 1 to this building. It just comes to this building, which means it won't leave home appliances until this needs 4 of them. And then by that time, I mean, you would only have 1 left in this building. Chances are the truck will never get here, right? It's crazy. No, you need less amount per craft from red and flowers, but they can get there in the time from existing positions. So, yes, okay, I see your point there. Because I can make multiple flowers in multiple buildings, right? Like all these buildings, right? I can make all kinds of flowers. Yes, and yes, as you can see, not all the buildings are out of goo at any one time. Still same problem though. Why? Because this will only call what it needs or what it thinks it needs at that time. So yes, all I've done here, all this would be here, is the same as methane gas, right? With an extra step. So I'm calling in a bunch of purple goo to these 6 buildings. These 6 buildings would then be the same as having 6 methane gas refineries down there having to deliver the purple goo, which there's lots of flowers here. There's lots of purple goo flowers, but unless this drill's willing to call for that amount of purple goo, you're going to have the same problem delivering. Like if that drill was down there, now you're just basically going in reverse. It would be calling 30 purple flowers all the time and not getting them, right? Because of the distance not being calculated right. I'm pretty sure it's because this number here of what it takes to make an item isn't being taken into the calculation of what the distance is for the requirement delivery of the items of the raw material. But I don't know that for sure. This is all guesswork. Right? I mean, it's all guesswork, people. We're guessing a lot of stuff here. So I mean, that is what it is. I'm fine with living with these limitations, as long as I kind of figure out the limitations. I mean, all games have quirks and limitations, right? And if I know what the limitations are, well, then that's fine. It just means that, one, I don't get to play with cool trains because you can't build large city with cool trains. And you'll notice that like a few people like myself and a few others who have built really big cities have not used trains, and that's because the trains still aren't reliable. It's like the only way it's able to even get the calculations partly right is to use roads, and anything else seems to be out of its domain. But in this particular case, the map distance is now highlighting the other problem, which is these buildings are just not calling enough, right? They're, if this is every 24 seconds, then this should say, okay, every 24 seconds I need 10 gas. That distance is X amount of distance, which means I need to be calling in 70 gas constantly to keep this drill running. But unfortunately, I'm only allowed to call in 26. So until this 26 gets delivered and it runs out, it's not allowed to call in the other 50 that it needs, right? And that's why this is always just kind of sitting here sometimes going, do. I'm just waiting for my gas. Look at me. I'm hanging out. I'm waiting for my stuff. Yep. Boop. There's my gas icon. Right? So yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's just a game mechanic. It's like all games. They have quirky mechanics, and sometimes you just gotta deal with it. Right. Which is again one of my main things. Right. Put in storage. Boom. Right. Where you could store some of this stuff. And have it selectable, right? So right now, storage only works for like steel and stuff, but like you should be able to like put down a storage bin, then have it like a big checklist, right? And then say, okay, I don't want you to store carbon here. I don't want you to store, don't store sand here. Don't store this and that. At this storage location, I only want you to store purple goo, purple flowers, and gas. Done. And then let it go, right? Let it ride, and then that way you wouldn't overburden traffic on all these extra roads with like a lot of cross traffic trying to deliver everywhere, right? And down in the city, for example, I could say, okay, yeah, I want certain buildings to only house like home appliances or computers or VR education, right? You could like select that stuff. That's what I think would be a really big help. And again, I don't know how the math is being calculated for all this delivery, so I can't say for sure. But my suggestion would be put in actual storage, right? Where you could actually store this stuff close by and then just crank it out, right? put down 10, put down as much industry as you want and let it crank it out until it turns blue in the face. And then, you can use that storage up and do all the things, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's again, it's still in early access. Everybody likes to give games a hard time. And of course, early access is its own label problems. Don't get me wrong. Early access has been heavily abused by a lot of game developers. That being said, early access, I mean, the mechanic was great. It allowed people who wanted to play the game an opportunity to play the game, even though they knew that there would be bugs, there would be issues, that there would be unfinished items, unfinished things, right? And so I love early access for that part. The only issue has been is that, when early access really started, like, say about 7 years ago, publishers use that awful heavy now as an excuse all the time to never finishing a game, right? Now you have these games that are in development for 4-5 years in early access, and that's not a thing, right? That's not early access. That's beta testing for 5 years, right? That's the thing. So that's early access is another whole argument for me for another day. So it's just I'm all fine with early access, and the game is in early access. I mean, it has been for several months, and and they've even put out in their recent patch notes that they're looking at what it is they want to do, to wrap, as part of the game wrap up for launch and all that stuff. And yes, performance is definitely one of them, right? So, it is in early access. This is the first big patch after the new mega maps. I'm sure there's issues with calculation that aren't being done correctly, and they'll have to look that over. And but overall, I mean, the game is I got 670 hours in this game. You don't put 600 hours into a game that you hate, right? I mean, I love the game. Okay, I love the game for some of the quirky things that you can do, all right? Like this. I mean, come on, people. This is awesome. And if they take this out, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be very cranky. Do not take this out, developers. I'm just saying, do not touch this. This is awesome, and this is what you want. Because, it's the future, people, and we can build stuff like that in the future. But at the same time, so I know that there's things to be done with the game. Things have to be, still put together, all that stuff, right? And I must admit, I do enjoy, like I said, I got, way to... Mouse, what's up? Yeah, well, you definitely caught me for the finale. Big time. So, yeah, it's just, like I said, I got, I'm headed towards 700 hours in this game. 668, or I think it was 669 as of this morning. Speaking of 69, 669 hours in this game as of this morning, and that's a lot of hours for a game that's in early access, right? There's, yes, I do have 3,120 hours in Satisfactory, but let's not discuss that right now. Let's leave that for Satisfactory. In fact, I should mention, I would like to put out a poll here shortly, and in that poll is going to be a question about Satisfactory. I'll leave the mystery part for now, but when the poll does come out, I would appreciate anybody that sees that poll to answer it. It will probably be on a Sunday, because it might be on a Saturday or Sunday when I put the poll out, and not this Saturday or Sunday. It's probably going to be a couple weeks from now. I'm just kind of throwing some heads up out there right now about that poll around Satisfactory, because Satisfactory, I think, is going to finish up this year, right? It's been in early development for 3.5 years. I think... and the reason it's been in EA up to this point is, in development, but two, each time they came out with a release, I think they got a lot of buy-in, like they got a lot more people buying the game. But I think in the last update, with update 5.6, I don't think a lot of new players bought the game, and that's when you usually have to decide and say, oh, okay, now it's time to release our game and move on to another game, right? So I do think Satisfactory is going to come out this year, and when it does, that's literally all I'm going to play for like 2 months, right? I'm just letting everybody know that now because, like I said, I got 3,100 and some odd hours in that game, and so that there's going to be a poll about that, and just keep an eye out for it, right? We've mined all the things. I mean, this plant, we've mined it out, people. I mean, I mine a lot of this animanium like crazy. 1,400 and growing. Every time we get more gas, as long as I can get enough gas to keep this drill going, I mine it. You know, it's all good in the neighborhood. So the new mega map, it's definitely awesome. I did notice a comment in their forums about it's a little shapeless, I guess is a thing you can comment. So like on the old maps, like you had like a fairly large sand build area, but then you had like 1 or 2 plateaus that you would build on. And I guess that's kind of the way I thought this was going to be. Like you would have a large sand area to build, but then you'd have like 1 or 2 hills. And then you have these things, right? Where you have like power specific or, you know, purple goo specific or aluminum specific stuff. So I did notice there was a comment there that these look a little bit lifeless. Now that being said though, I think that's all going to be around terraforming. So again, I'm not too worried about that. The new mega map, lots of fun. I could see building a crazy 500,000 population, you know, city on this. That being said, the game can be a little dry once you've got like nothing else to really research or anything like that, you know. And it does take time to build these blocks. Like, I mean, each one takes about 20 minutes. So to do a 500,000, you're probably looking at probably about 200 blocks. So you're looking at like, you know, a good couple hundred hours of just sitting there, putting in housing. That doesn't make for a very good stream, right? So anyway, nevertheless, I do enjoy the new mega maps. It's nice to have the room to do whatever, like to build the factories you want. Because I mean, that was always kind of tricky in them smaller maps. Definitely enjoying the canyon. I mean, come on, people, this is awesome. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is what we wanted. Canyon City. Oh yeah, all the way down. Yep, even with the funky bridge. Yep, funky bridge time. I mean, look at all the gondolas here. I mean, the gondolas make this really cool, don't they? I mean, they just make this really awesome. So Canyon City, definitely all that, and the things and the stuff, and the gondolas are awesome. Our quirky gas bridge, which didn't really solve our problem, but whatever. It was a cool experiment. The gondolas, I must admit, I am enjoying them. So loving the new technology, and of course, I mean, we're not loving just the new technology. I mean, there is the new technology, right? Where is it? Oh yeah. Hi, laser lady. What are you doing? Not much. Oh yeah. Pew pew all the things for me out here. Boom. Do that and that. And some of this. And look, you can even get these silly plants that I hate so much. I know. Do that and this and that. Yep. So the laser, definitely a lot of fun. And I must admit, it added an extra challenge, right? Resources are still a little bit quirky. So again, that side of the map has only 1 copper node. It's right here. There's 1 copper node on this whole side of the map, and it's right here. Don't know why that is. It's kind of weird. Also, they did say that they had changed. Now, this map was done before. They had done a hotfix, and then I made this map again. And they did say that these were supposed to be balanced on both sides of the ravine, but as you can see here, it didn't work. So it did put all 3 uranium on this side of the map. And again, I don't know if that's a thing. They did say they had put a patch out for that, but It didn't work in this map's case, so I'm not going to worry about it. Like I said, it's early access, though. I am enjoying the new mega map. I am looking forward to the terraforming. I think that's why the map's a little flatter than people were expecting, as I think terraforming is going to become a thing, and just the mechanics of doing terraforming, I think they needed a little bit of a simpler flat map to make that work. So I'm looking forward to that. It should be awesome. And at the same time, there was definitely no problem with like power and stuff on this map. Again, I only did 27,000 people this time, but you know, power was definitely not going to be an issue. I mean, I could have put down 100 of these factories. We could have run uranium all day, right? No problem. It literally would have been the resources and just how much I could mine out. But I don't think that would have been an issue. You know, the new vegetation and stuff, all pretty cool, right? We got the wavy grass. It's all great. And of course, space laser, you know, is awesome. We like space laser. Freaking laser beams, people. Freaking laser beams. We like the freaky laser beams. It's all good in the neighborhood. But with that, I think that's about where we're going to wrap this one up. You know, unless there's anything specific that I missed for questions and all the things. But I'm pretty sure that's about it. So you know, we're going to bring it back. In fact, I'm hoping to bring this map back for it. So when they do release the terraforming update, we're going to bring this map back and turn it into green grasses of glory. You betcha. With all my gondolas. And maybe we'll even get a train update, and I'll try and put the train back in, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. That'll be all good, right? So what do we got coming up for the rest of the week? I don't know, Max. Why don't you push the buttons into things, because you're really good at that sometimes. Well, not all the time, but sometimes. So what do we got coming up for the rest of the week? Tomorrow is Thursday, and tomorrow is going to be the No Spoon Finale speed run of Factorio, right? Well, it isn't a speed run, it's speed walking, I guess. Of course, to get the No Spoon achievement, you have to launch a rocket in under 8 hours, and the final episode of that is tomorrow. And then on Friday is the final episode of 2 Point Campus Space Academy. And then, so 3 series all wrap up here for cleanup week. And that's where we're going to have that. And then I bring Factorio back for a little bit of bonus on Sunday, just to go through a couple of big maps. And then let's talk about, for the first time, what's coming up next week. Next week, Dyson Sphere Program Destiny returns, you betcha. We, of course, are at 92 out of 100 achievements on that. And, of course, we're going to bring that back next week. And I'm trying to squeeze in Evil Genius 2. Now, I don't know if I'm going to pull that off because of all the crazy copyright issues it gave me. But I'm trying to swing that in somehow, right? And that is just those are going to hold over until Transport Fever 2 is supposed to come out with an update here sometime in February. And then, of course, Mr. Prepper comes out March the 10th, you know, with Animal Farm and all the craziness there. So we have a bunch of stuff coming up, as always. And so, of course, that's going to wrap it up for this one. We're going to bring it back, though, for the, like I said, for the terraforming update. We'll turn all of this nice and pretty green, won't we? I mean, except for the radiation on them mountains, but I don't know how that works. Maybe the grass will turn like purple or something and it'll poison everybody. But we'll forget about that. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Holy smokes, it's quite the list here today. And so, of course, Mr. O, I appreciate it. Mouse, Mr. Socks, I'm glad you made it. All good in the neighborhoods. Pushing buttons. I know Average Gamer, Average Dad is here. Yep, there he is. There's Noko. Noko is here. Sanchez, of course, all good in the neighborhood. How to win. Well, I don't know how to win yet, but I try to keep playing the lottery every week. Still not getting anywhere, but that's all right. Insane in the Brain is all good in the neighborhood. And, of course, I appreciate all the viewership very much, as well as everybody that catches me later on. I'm Max. This has been InfraSpace GIGA, where we are doing all the GIGA things. You know what? I did this little thing. I don't know if this is going to work. Just hold on a second. I'm gonna do a thing here. No, I guess I only did it with this. Is that a thing? Aw, darn it. I thought I had done, yeah, see, I'm gonna have to, I haven't got the other one set up yet. So for my ending credits, sometimes I'll be able to show away the game in the background. Yeah, that'll be really cool. But in any case, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I'm Max. This has been the InfraSpace Giga. I appreciate everybody that's been watching and stuff. We'll have Factorio tomorrow for another finale, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.